She inherited a murder mansion and called it self-care, aka, some people get generational wealth. She got generational ghosts. Okay, we proceed with caution, seatbelts, and a therapist on speed dial. So, Adeline Riley, Addie, is a best-selling horror author with impeccable vibes and catastrophic judgment. She inherits Parsons Manor from her grandmother, Seraphina, a giant, cliffside murder Barbie dreamhouse. Her mum says, no. Addie says, yes. I say, girl, choose sunlight. She moves in. Naturally, the house breathes. The walls groan. The mirrors look at you first. Her great-grandmother, Gigi, was murdered here, and the killer was never found. The property has trauma built into the foundation. But Addie, she's like, it's giving creative inspiration. Then come the roses. One red rose inside a locked house. Another. Then the sound of someone exhaling her name. Addie knows horror tropes and still does not leave. Her best friend, Daya, shows up. Equal parts tech support and emotional support raccoon. Sets up cameras, roasts Addie, and mutters, this is how white girls die in Netflix docuseries. We alternate between two POVs. The manipulator, Addie, and the shadow, the stalker. The shadow is disturbingly calm, observant, decisive. He scales her life like a rock wall and then just perches there. I don't like him. I do not support him. And unfortunately, my brain chemistry registers interest. God, not again. Addie goes clubbing with Daya to shake the dread off. She meets a normal man, red flag, named Arch. He's kind. They go home together, consenting adults making adult decisions. I exhale. The book inhales, because the stalker sees. He doesn't do sulking. He does escalation. Arch is kidnapped, tortured, murdered off page. Addie gets a package. His severed hands. The note is basically, hands off what's mine. I gag. I lock my own door. I Google exorcism DIY. And somewhere, very deep, a tiny traitor neuron whispers, oh no. Addie calls the police. The system shrugs. She updates her alarms. Her stalker makes them irrelevant. She tries to make the house a home. The house chooses violence. And here's where the book gets diabolically effective. It frames intrusion like intimacy. You feel wrong reading it. You should. The writing is like standing too close to a cliff. You know your stomach will drop, and you walk to the edge anyway. Me adjusting my halo with scorched fingers like, no, it's fine, I'm a responsible adult. Then she finds Gigi's journals hidden in a safe, and history starts repeating like a cursed record. Gigi was stalked by a man named Ronaldo. Obsession bloomed, love curdled, death followed. Addie reads her ancestors' descent and starts living a remix. The stalker finally gets a name, Zaid Meadows. He runs an underground network that hunts human traffickers. He saves women, kills men, and breaks into Addie's house to inhale her shampoo. He will dismantle a cartel by morning and then spend the afternoon wiring a camera into the corner of her bedroom. Hello, officer? I'd like to report a moral cone. They finally meet. It's violent, invasive, and written to make you nauseous. Consent is gone, replaced with dread and confusion. Addie's terrified, also conflicted. And I, an alleged adult, am reading like, this is monstrous, and then flipping pages like I'm trying to generate wind power. Zaid calls himself her shadow, promises to protect her from everything but himself, and starts helping by surveilling more effectively than the police. He trains her. Knife grips, situational awareness, strength work. He is teaching her to survive in the cage he welded. It's empowering and terrifying, and I hate that my brain went, at least he's thorough. I would like to unsubscribe from myself. Act 2. Girl, he's literally in your walls. A romance. AKA, love language, breaking and entering. Addie keeps reading Gigi's diaries, finding names. Frank Williams, Senator Mark Williams. The Society, a cabal of rich men dabbling in trafficking and ritualistic nightmares. Because apparently we just keep adding plot lines until the reader disassociates. Senator Mark Williams appears in a tuxedo with the moral compass of a trash fire. Polite smile, rotten center. He's tied to the Society. Zaid is playing chess, charming members of said society for access. Cozied up to initiation, whispering, "I will tear it down from inside." He's still running Addie through combat drills, because nothing says apology arc like kettlebell trauma. Fantastic. A stalker with a fitness plan. My standards are in a shallow grave. Then we attend Satan's Affair, a travelling carnival from hell. Addie and Dea go because they're both clinically allergic to peace and normal hobbies. The Society's men stalk the grounds. Zaid stalks them back. Addie gets sucked into a mirror maze where your reflection looks like prey. Zaid finds her. The scene is sweat, glass, breath. Consent is murky as swamp water. The point is to make you angry, and it does. And the book keeps going because some stories aren't here for your comfort. My survival mechanism becomes dry commentary. Yes, hello. I would like to return my thoughts. They are misfiring in ethically inconvenient directions. Zaid recruits a woman named Sybil, a woman who looks like she escaped an anime asylum. Tiny, pretty, and catastrophically unwell. She doesn't blink, doesn't breathe wrong, and can kill a man with a hairpin. Zaid calls her an ally. I call her a jump scare. Together they gut the Society from the inside. Mark dies badly. We do not mourn him. Meanwhile, Addie and Dea keep piecing together Gigi's story. The twist? The murderer wasn't Ronaldo. It was Frank Williams, Mark's father. Shocker! It was the old white man with power and secrets all along. Serena, Addie's mum, helped cover it up out of fear. Serafina knew. The whole family tree is basically women who swallowed screams so men could keep their reputations. Zaid, somewhere between guilt and mania, keeps trying to protect Addie while also being the reason she needs protection. After so much violation, Addie starts choosing him sometimes. She initiates. She wants. The power gap still yawns. The history is still poison. The narrative is testing you on the difference between arousal and consent, fantasy and harm, and how people rationalize cages when the captor is also a rescuer. My rational brain is giving a TED talk. My lizard brain is eating crayons. Still, Addie tries to reclaim normal. Writes, drinks coffee with Dea, walks the beach, pretends she isn't living in a haunted allegory for generational trauma. The ocean scene is peaceful, which is how you know it's about to implode. Act 3. I can fix him. No, I can't. He's digging graves. AKA, just because he kills traffickers doesn't mean he's emotionally available. Zaid's infiltration of the Society goes nuclear. His cover cracks, his name leaks, and suddenly the hunters become the prey. He barely escapes. Bloodied, half feral, and absolutely on every watch list imaginable. The Society now knows who he is, and who he loves. Then the echo of Chapter 1 slams the door. Addie is taken, not by the Society, not by Zaid, but by someone tied to Arch, the decent man whose hands were once mailed as a message. Retribution dressed as irony. They can't reach Zaid, so they take the woman branded by his obsession. Addie wakes to darkness, rope, oil-slick floor, air that smells like rust and breath. She catalogues every detail, because naming things is control. She thinks of Zaid. She hates that she thinks of Zaid. She hates that part of her believes he'll come, and that another part hopes he won't. Because what happens when the monster who could save you is also the monster you need saving from. Zaid loses what's left of his soul and goes full John Wick with a moral crisis. He tears through traffickers, interrogates anyone who breathes wrong, rescues victims, leaves wreckage. He's both savior and contagion. The thesis flashing in neon, you cannot heal the violence you embody. Addie survives on willpower alone. Zaid gets close, then blackout. Cliffhanger. Addie, gone. Moved. Zaid, unhinged. Me, staring at the ceiling like a Victorian ghost asking for refunds on my taste in fiction. I am a rational adult who just got emotionally compromised by a felon with a VPN and a home gym. I am aware. I do not need comments. I need a quiet room and perhaps a mild sedative. Because haunting Adeline is a trap, and the author tells you that from page 1. It's not safe, not healthy, not romantic. It feeds you dread and desire in alternating spoonfuls until your body is confused and your brain's filing HR complaints. It says, here's a cage. Here's the rescuer who built half the bars. Here's how power warps love. And then it dares you. Will you keep reading? I did. I'm not proud. But when the noise dies down, I'm not thinking about Zaid's jawline or the mirror maze. I'm thinking about Addie in the dark, counting breaths and choosing, quietly, to save herself, even if no one comes. I'm thinking of Gigi's handwriting, Serena's silence, Seraphina's fear, and the generations of women who survived by leaving each other breadcrumbs to the exits they never got to use. I want Addie to be the one who breaks the pattern, not just the one who lives through it. I want Zaid to burn the world down and then learn how to live in the ashes without owning anyone. I want a universe where Parsons Manor finally exhales and no one has to count their locks at night. Okay, breathe. So yeah, everyone's traumatized, the mansion's still breathing, and I'm annotating in disbelief. Addie's gone, Zaid's feral, and we're the problem for enjoying the ride. I look at my reflection and say the quiet part out loud. What is wrong with me? Then I order more highlighters because if I'm going to spiral, I'm going to keep annotating. Drop your meltdown in the comments. I refuse to spiral alone. Like, subscribe, and tell me which scene made you question your brain chemistry before my therapist finds this channel and raises my copay. This has been a full LOL lit meltdown, unhinged by fiction, held together by vibes.